How's it going, Keene State? I hope we're all doing well. My name is Jordan Travers, and I'll be your host as the Equinox welcomes you to the first segment of WATHA, or What's All the Hoot About? Here we'll be giving members of student organizations and clubs around campus a chance to use their voice and share their experiences with the community. On the WATHA forecast for tonight, we have Sean Gregoire, a senior who is heavily involved in the theater and arts department, as well as our focus for tonight, the radio station we have here at Keene State. So, Sean, tell me, what's all the hoot about WKNH?
Well, first of all, we're really loud. So there's that, which is useful when you're a radio person. But yeah, we're the radio station on campus, the official campus radio station of Keene State College. And we also do a lot of events with live bands around campus. We DJ events like the Pride Parade, as well as senior dinners. And yeah, we're kind of the voice of the college in a lot of ways, bringing the tunes to the greater Keene area, and as well as to anyone with an internet connection. So yeah, that's WKNH.
Well, that's awesome. So you said you run a bunch of events. Are there any particular events that stuck out to you? Any particular reason?
Well, definitely. I had the privilege of DJing the Pride Parade and the senior dinner last year, which was super fun. Just being able to bring tunes to everyone and just give the whole event a nice, comfortable atmosphere, allowing people to have a lot of fun and just enjoy themselves. That's just really satisfying and fulfilling for me, and for, I hope, for most people who do those things. But yeah.
That's really amazing. No, that's awesome that you get to put on those events. And if I'm correct, you don't hold any positions in WKNH. You're just a general member, right?
Yeah, I'm a general DJ. I host a show. I go to the meetings. I help DJ for events, help out at events occasionally. But there are vacancies in the e-board for the radio station that I am interested in. There's a second music director position coming up that I would love to run for, mainly because, that's a position that I've always been interested in since when I first came to WKNH in Keene State College in the spring of 2019. That was the dream for me in the station, and being able to bring my own music taste to the position, as well as generally make the station better. That to me is something that I've been looking forward to and want the opportunity to make the station better.
So you're hoping to run for, you said it's music director? Is that what that is?
Yeah, there's 2 music director positions. Basically, when there's not a show going on, there's an automation playlist that plays that allows listeners to tune in at any time, 24/7, 12 months a year, every day, that there's music playing. And music directors are in charge of that, as well as in charge of listening to any music that comes into the station through CDs that are sent in, albums from local bands. They want to get their music on the radio. The music director is the person who goes in and reviews that stuff and puts it on the automation playlist. So they're kind of procuring the music that everyone listens to when there's not a show happening.
Oh, that's really interesting, because you still have control over it even though there's not someone directly on the DJ kind of creating playlists and stuff. That's really interesting. That's cool that you still have that creative freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, do you think that any of the skills that you've learned in radio so far could be applicable to your everyday life, your career, any endeavors after you graduate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of the reasons why I got into DJing and doing the radio in the first place was because it was a great way for me to perform. I'm an actor. I'm in the theater and dance department here on campus. I have an acting major. I love to just perform and to be myself in front of people and to entertain people. And that being on the radio is just another way of being able to do that, and a way that I personally find a lot of enjoyment in. Because there's not as much. I'd say I'm a fairly decent looking fella, but I mean, maybe people don't want to look at my face, but they want to hear
Mhm.
my voice and the things that I have to say and the music that I like, and that gives enjoyment to people, and
Mhm.
that knowledge and that experience being in the radio station also carries out to my interactions with people, the way I carry myself and present myself. It's very freeing to be able to express myself so freely and so adamantly.
Mhm. And would you say that that's something that everyone could get from this experience? Like just kind of going to a meeting and kind of. Would you say that is this something that you would suggest others would do?
Absolutely. Like, being part of the radio station is a ton of fun. Just being a part of a group of people who are so open to each other's interests and their, well, the common interest being music. And even if you're not interested in doing music or even doing a show, going to the meetings and just being part of that organization is so rewarding, and just because of the people that you meet.
Mhm.
That's the best part of the whole thing, really. I think is getting to meet these people who just want to sit
Mhm.
and or stand and DJ and just have fun, and express themselves and feel free.
Yeah, like
It
having a community that with
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
like-minded people. I can see. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. I wouldn't. There's not a single person that I wouldn't recommend doing radio to.
Mhm.
It's something that everybody can get something out of. Even if you don't want to do a show or not interested in putting yourself on the actual radio waves.
Mhm. Would you say that this is something for you that you're going to remember later on about your college experience?
100%. It's radio station here has been a integral part of my college experience, and just being able to be a part of that is something that I won't ever forget, and those memories that I will continue to make throughout the rest of my time here, which is very little time. Uh, I'm gonna carry that for the rest of my life, and I will. I hope that I can make memories in the future and experience things as beautifully as I experienced them here at the radio station.
Mm. So you are graduating soon. That's very sad.
It is sad, yeah.
Yeah, commencement, however many days. But um, do you hope to leave behind any sort of legacy at the radio station? Is there anything you hope to leave with the members who are going to be staying for maybe the next couple of years? Is there anything you would tell them maybe?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm a firm believer that if you're a part of something, you should try your best to leave it better the way you than how you found it. And that's what I would aim to do in the music director position, because things aren't perfect, especially after COVID. The if you have to go into the automation playlist, I mean, there's a track in there that's 7 minutes of just someone tuning their guitar. I mean, no one wants to listen to that. So, like, fine tuning that, polishing that, getting it so that there's music that people would actually be interested in listening to. No offense to anyone who wants to listen to the guitar tuning, but
It sounds interesting. No.
it to you maybe. But uh, yeah, just leaving that better than how it was, and just also giving people the space and the freedom to just also play whatever music that they want, which is something that the radio station prides itself on. It doesn't limit what people can play, as long as it's not like the Billboard Top 40. That's the only restriction, because I mean that's a whole thing. But um, just giving people that freedom, and just going to them and being like, however you want to express yourself within reason, of course,
Hmm.
do it. Be your
Yeah.
genuine, authentic self on air. That's what people want to hear.
So now that leads me to two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being, do you have a favorite song or genre that you tend to favor, that you tend to favor, that you tend to kind of gravitate towards when you are doing your shows?
Yeah, well, the show that I do is called The Wave. It's on Saturdays, 7 to 8 p.m. Um, it's a show where I basically play synth wave, dark wave, space synth, that kind of stuff. Basically, any kind of like 80s themed electronica music. Think Stranger Things or Blade Runner, that kind of stuff. Very cyberpunky. That's my jam. I love that stuff.
So that leads me to my second, more interesting question.
Mm.
Are there any songs that you wish you could play on the radio that you know you can't?
Ooh, yeah. Any songs with swears in it?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of songs with swears in it that I would love to play on the radio, which I can't for obvious reasons. You know, like you can't play swears on the radio. That's a general no-no. But yeah, there's so many songs that I wish I could play. But I mean, there's plenty of other songs that I can play that don't have swears in it. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too demoralized about that.
Yeah, curse words don't make good music. But
what are you talking about? Yes, I do. Sheesh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get get controversial there.
Yeah, controversial opinion on your own show.
I know. I'm sorry. But yeah. So compared to other organizations on campus, how demanding would you say is the time requirement for radio? Like, just as a general member, what is the time commitment for that?
It's not very long at all. I mean, if you just want to go to the meetings and that's it, that's an hour a week on Sundays. Very easy. But if you want to have a show, that's a couple more hours in the week. 2 shows, that's a couple more. If you want to do events, that usually has the biggest time commitment. But again, it's very flexible in terms of like how long you want to be at those events, how long you can be at those events. So it's very flexible. I mean, at least an hour if you want to be in the meetings. That's the only mandatory thing, but it's very light compared to other organizations on campus.
And from there, what does the process look like to from when you go to maybe your first WKNH meeting to getting your voice on the radio?
Well, the process is basically you just do a test. So you go to the meeting, you introduce yourself, you know, you're part of that group. And then if you want to do a show, you have to submit a show request form, basically describing your show, what time slot you want, what music you will play, if any music at all. And then you have to do a written test and an on-air test, basically just putting you in front of the microphone, making sure that you know what you're doing so that you're confident on air. And, you know, and the station is super easygoing with that. Basically, if you go in and you do the test, you will pass. You know, if you get things wrong, we'll go over them, we'll correct them, and then you'll be on your merry way as a new DJ. So it's very easy to get into the radio station, even just as a general DJ.
That's great. So,
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who maybe doesn't know if WKNH is for them? What would you say to someone who's like, yeah, maybe I do want to go to a meeting? Do you have any advice for those people?
Go to the Madison Street Lounge of the Student Center Sundays at 8 p.m. That's when we have our meetings. Also, if we're at an event, usually we have a table. Just come talk to us. You know, we'd love to see you, and we'll get you on the email list so you get any information that you need to know for any future possibility of you being in the radio station. It's very easy. So yeah, just come talk to us.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it, and I had an absolute blast talking to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any other final words for the people watching?
Yeah, I mean, definitely go and try and go into the radio station. It's a lot of fun, and you know, we'll hear from you on the radio waves. 91.3 WKNH Keene FM.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you. Have a good night.